world is not ready in the next 1 to 5 years, a lot of people are going to lose jobs and there will be so much automation.
Raising alarms tonight about AI's potential impact on employment.
There will come a point where no job is needed. The AI will be able to do everything.
So if you want to stay competitive, you will have to shed those jobs and replace them with a lot of just automation that will be done with AI.
Cost reduction, great efficiency, so you can stay competitive when the big boys come.
What may end up happening to you and your business is that you're going to be a proverbial horse replaced by cars.
Start adopting because you're going to miss the bus.
Welcome to the GLF podcast. I have an amazing guest with me here today. If you follow any podcasts, any legal news, chances are you have seen this man, heard his voice, read one of his books. Hamid Kohan has been around this industry for a number of years. He's a serial entrepreneur, has something close to 10 different brands, 9 of which actually serve the legal community. He is a tech aficionado, started in the tech business when he was just 17 years old when he finished engineering school at 17, earned 2 degrees in engineering, 1 MBA degree, and has been an entrepreneur with all of these businesses that serve legal community. Hamid, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Sasha. Thanks for having me. Pleasure to be here. And I'm sure we're going to have a very exciting conversations about what has happened and what's about to happen in the legal industry.
I think most importantly, it is for us to think about what's about to happen because we understand the enormous changes that are coming in the legal space. Yet people who are listening to this podcast, who watch this podcast, are ambitious law firm owners. The reason why they listen or watch this podcast is because they constantly think about how to grow their businesses. Years ago, you published a book with what I think is a little bit of a controversial title. And it's titled How to Scale Your Stupid Law Firm. And I'm going to turn it and say how to scale my stupid law firm, because if I own the law firm, it's like, okay, what is this all about? So instead of focusing on the book, I want to look at it through a different lens. Let's imagine that both of us are in the state of Arizona, or maybe we're not in the state of Arizona, but you and I decide to buy a typical law firm that does $1.2, $1.5 million in revenue. It's B2C. It's personal injury or criminal defense or estate planning. One of those. It doesn't matter because we're business people. We don't care about the practice here. We care about scalability. You and I buy this thing, and our goal is to make $1 million each. We're 50-50 partners. And recall that if we were to scale it up to $10 million in gross revenue, our net profit margin, what's going to be left at the year's end, is going to be about 20% pre-tax. So you get $1 million and I get $1 million. I like those numbers. They're nice round numbers. If somebody's doing this or listens to this and they're thinking, yes, my law firm is 1.2, 2 million, maybe 3 million, but I do want to get to the $10 million top line. Now, I'm thinking like, what's in it for me? So for every 5 million or so in top line revenue, you should be making about them. So you and I are partners. We want to make $1 million each. How do we scale our newly acquired stupid law firm?
Sure. That's exactly what the purpose of that book was, because everybody was asking me. I was doing this as a consultant, and I was a sort of fractional COO in several large PI firms. And people were saying, sort of, I'm having what he's having because I don't know what you do, but I just know that you made this guy a lot of money. So can you do the same thing for me? So I ended up explaining the same thing a few times. And then somebody said, did you ever thought about writing it down so people won't ask you the questions? So that's exactly how the book came about, because I said, I don't want to be asked the same question. So I'm just going to put it in writing. Everybody can benefit from it. So that book really does that and says that. But to your point, I was actually in Arizona yesterday for my law firm and so forth. It is sort of a straightforward because I come from a tech industry that we go from 0 to $1 billion, like very rapidly. You guys seen that in the news and so forth. Tech industry is built that way. There's nothing small about it. Everything just goes mega buster everywhere. So spending 20 years there and having been involved in several IPOs and companies who went from 0 to billion, we sort of learn that how it works, how it does from a very intelligent group of people. Law is the same thing. When I came in, I was like, oh my God, law industry is like 40 years behind. I always used to joke, even in my book, saying that if you left them alone, they're still wearing their pagers waiting at the fax machine for the next retainer to fax in. And they wouldn't have even moved from the freaking fax machine if we left them alone. So when we gave him a cell phone, it took him a few years to figure out that one. And that I don't need to wait at the fax machine. I can actually get it on my cell phone. So when I came in, I was just blown away. I was like, whoa, I come from one extreme to the other extreme. It's almost like I changed the planet. So I started implementing a lot of technologies, a lot of processes, a lot of KPIs. There's not a single KPI. They couldn't answer a single question about the firm that helped me grow the firm, like how much your cost of client acquisition is. And he goes like, what? How? I don't know. They come from right. They come from left. You know? And then I said, what's the average fee per case on the pre-lead? And how much is it per lead? How long is the average time to close from retainer? I mean, all averages, all the numbers every successful business need to know. Sasha, I couldn't get one single answer. They're all just like living day by day is almost like a hot dog truck machine, just driving the street and selling hot dogs because I have no idea where my next client comes from. So to answer your questions, there's a few elements that makes a scaling successful. First, you need to know your cost of client acquisition per channel. The channel is I add on radio, TV, Google, Meta, YouTube, Yelp, whatever. Each one of them producing a client for you. You guys are specialized in that. And so I need to know how much am I buying the gallon of milk from each store. Because if I don't know how much I'm buying it for, I don't know if it's profitable. So establishing cost of client acquisition per source and averaging out through 6 months or a year. And a lot of, by the way, mishap would think that is where attorneys thought if they just spend money, they're going to get a case, which is not the case at all. Spending money has to do, but not controls the entire process. So they advertise with firms like yourself with SEO, marketing, and so forth, but they don't have the infrastructure set up to convert what you produce into a client. They think just magically the retainer shows up. No, it doesn't. You need to have a bilingual, trained, incentivized, full-time staff to convert the lead that you generate into a client. And then they were saying, well, my staff answer it, and after that, it goes to call center. I wouldn't trust a call center with my 7-figure call. How would the random person in a random place is going to care about my 7-figure case that I've been waiting for all my life? And I don't know when that comes in. So we set up in LegalSoft in a complete structure of a trained, full-time, dedicated virtual intake staff that takes the leads from all of these sources that is produced and converts it into the case. So I can now calculate my cost of client acquisition because nothing goes to the waste. And then after that, they do all the outbound calls to make sure they maximize the outcome of the ad campaign. So that's the first element. Okay, so now I fixed that. I got the intake. I got good marketing companies. I got good marketing effort going on. The case comes in. There's not a structure set up right behind it to take the case to the end. So it goes to this random case manager. And the case manager doesn't know to set up the treatments or talk to the client, gauge them, and then follow up to make sure there's no gap in treatments. And then after all of this, I got to go collect the medical records. And then I got to do the demand. We change that structure also. We say, look, you got to limit the amount of work that the case manager can do. The best thing they can do is to make sure the client is happy, getting treatment, is moving forward, and then pass it on to somebody to do the rest of the work. So the infrastructure is very important. The intake, the case management, doesn't matter if it's personal injury, employment, labor, workers' comp, is all the same. It needs to work to be done, and then it needs to be tracked so nothing gets hoarded. Some firms just hoarder cases. It's like this case is supposed to be finalized and settled in 6 months. It's still sitting there for 16 months. It's like your money is stuck there and the client is not happy because it's taking too long and it's costing the firm more money. So those are some of the things. The great lead generation company that is measured, great intake staff that can convert the leads into a client, and then managing the client well where you get referrals from and you expedite from intake to settlement. Then you have the other structure of, okay, how do I deal with the litigation, referrals, referring out, taking referrals in. So if I were to answer your first question, it would probably take us, me and you, about 3 months to set up a system to go from 1 million in revenue to 10 million in revenue. It would take about between 2 to 3 years.
First step is optimizing marketing and understanding what is the client acquisition cost or case acquisition cost, however you want to call it.
Per channel.
So every channel, we know how much we're spending, like you said, on a gallon of milk. We know how much we're spending on one client acquisition. It has to be a reasonable amount. What's the target? So let's say that we are in Arizona. Let's say that we are in Phoenix. It is a competitive arena. Let's say that we are in the PI space. We're fighting against the companies like Lerner and Rowe. What should we expect to invest in client acquisition on average?
Every state is different and every channel is different. In California right now, the cost of client acquisition for average PI firm runs between $2,800 to $3,800 per case. And that's if you're set up. I've seen firms that it's costing them $6,000 because they don't have the right system in place like I described. So it's costing them almost twice as much. But if they're set up properly, that's the cost. In Arizona, you're looking about $1,600 to $2,400 per case. That's the range in Arizona. It used to be $900 like 2 years ago, but it got so saturated in Arizona. All the basically overflow from California came there. Now overflow from Texas is coming there.
I was in Arizona a little over 2 months ago. When you get on the highway driving from the airport, I counted. In the first 6 miles, there were 14 billboards advertising PI law firms.
Yeah, I was there yesterday and it looked like every billboard was a PI billboard. I know. And it's getting crazy. So the cost of acquisition has gone up drastically. And they have this ABS programming, alternative business solution, which is makes the non-attorneys to own a firm in Arizona. So now the bigger boys, even from other states, East Coast and Mid-Center, coming there and opening up firms. But Arizona is still a small market. It's not like New York or Florida or California. So every state has a different cost of client acquisition because on the legal side, since we work with 1,000 firms that spread all over the California, we pretty much have a good pulse about how much cases go for in each state, in most states. And so we can predict that. And then from that, we can help them set up the intake and case management infrastructure and so forth. And all of them are virtual staff. The virtual staff are full-time, dedicated, trained, that are full-time working on the firms. It starts from intake staff, then goes to case management, paralegals, even remote attorneys who work like associate here. So these are folks in the different countries who are past the law and working the law. And they essentially do the discoveries and motions and appeals and stuff for the firms here. So it has a few big range from end to end. Like I have a firm in California that has 129 virtual staff from us and with 36 of them in intake. So it goes anywhere from 1 or 2 all the way to 100 plus virtual staff in the firm. That makes it scalable because every time when I was doing consulting, every time I ask him, why don't you advertise more? You have plenty of money. And goes, well, if I get them, I don't have enough people to handle them. And in LA, it's very hard to get people and to keep people and getting very expensive. The cost almost doubled and all of that. So that's where this virtual staffing kicked in. It says it's highly scalable. I can basically right now show you 100 qualified candidates who worked in PI firms in the US already. So you basically, it's like a shopping cart. It's like a Match.com. You go in there, you see their video, you talk to them, you see their bio, and you place your order.
That is absolutely amazing. So connecting to that. So first part is marketing.
Yes.
If we're going from 1 million to 10 million, we need to at least 10x the number of leads, and we have to get those leads in a cost-effective manner.
People focus, Sasha, too much on the leads. I think it's actual cases because they think since they paid for the leads, that means a client. They need to be converted into clients. You can provide the leads, but you can't control conversion.
So first the leads, then highly effective intake. Where we see a lot of inefficiency is at the intake. So if you are getting leads from the internet, we see some law firms convert 1 out of 3 and some convert 1 out of 12.
I can give you exact numbers. Right? If you tell me in California, when you have like 7 lead generation programs running, campaigns running, your average conversion rate is about 6%. So imagine you got 100 leads that you need to talk to get 6 clients out of them. That's a hell of a lot of work to be able to handle that. But it's 6%. In the most I've ever seen nationwide, it's been like 9 to 10% conversion. And that's when it got quality leads, not just random leads.
There is an illusion across many law firms, and I hear some intake gurus, not all, but some, who will tell you that you should be closing or converting 80% of your leads. It does not exist.
That doesn't exist. Even 25% doesn't exist.
Qualified leads, we see that. Definitely seen it.
No, after qualified leads, but the criteria of calling it a qualified leads also varies so much. So everybody calls everything qualified just because they had an accident, it was recent, and they think they're not at fault. Okay. That just one element of they think they're not at fault doesn't make him a qualified lead anymore because they need to know that they are not at fault. Right.
So I had multiple conversations with one of the largest PI law firms in the country. I know their director of intake, and we run through some of the numbers. He couldn't give me everything, but some of the numbers. So their lead generation machine across multiple states attracts 9,000 leads per month. Half of those are junk as soon as they look at them.
Yes.
50% just gone.
I'm surprised it's 50%. I would expect like 65, 70%.
50%, they don't even need to have the conversation with them.
Right.
Of the remaining 50%, 20% gets disqualified in the first conversation. It's the remaining 30% that they actually want to continue with, and he would not tell me what of that 30% actually becomes their client. That piece of data he would not reveal, but there is a percent. It's not 100%, it's not 90%, it's not 80%. It's a percentage of 30% that becomes their clients. And their intake, we went through through it. It's incredibly efficient. It's incredibly polished. 25 plus years of doing it in that firm, and they have dozens and dozens and dozens of intake agents, so they know how to do it. So first key to success of us taking law firm from 1 million to 10 million is at least 10x increase in lead volume.
Right.
The quality lead volume, right? So they're coming through the right channels at the right cost. And then it's optimizing intake, optimizing conversion, whatever it may end up being. 6%, 8%, 10%, we'll find out. By the way, in our business, in marketing business, the numbers are very much the same. A very effective account executive, like an intake person, they close about 9 to 10% of all incoming leads. And about half of them will be disqualified out of the gate, and the remaining 50% is what works.
By the way, every single one of our intake staff is incentivized when they retain a client. So they have a stake in the game, and that's what makes it be more successful, because randomly, again, the average law firm, older firm, is their job to retain the client. Oh, yeah, but how much do you want them to care? Because they just saw you making $100,000 on the case that they retained, that they didn't gain anything, they still getting the same pay. It creates a sort of a negative environment where it says, I'm making you all this money. But if he gets $50, $100 per case that he signs, now you'll probably double your conversion.
Probably. So first, as we're building this company, this law firm, we're investing money into marketing. And it sounds like in the Arizona, we're going to invest about 15% of case value, give or take, on acquisition. Then we're going to invest some money into intake, which could be another 3, 4, 5% of average case value. So 20% is gone on just acquiring cases.
Yes.
Now we need to staff up, and we should have flexible staffing. And it sounds like this is what LegalSoft does. You can help staff up our law firm as we're going from $1 to $10 million.
Right. Because the cost of the virtual staffing usually is about 25 to 30% of in-house staffing. So if you can basically have 3 or 4 trained case manager for cost of 1. But when I do this, I also begin the system by getting a very good CRM in place from people like Clio, Filevine, Litify, CasePeer, all these folks, and program it right from beginning. So it takes the control of everything from the lead all the way to settlement. Because that's the technology platform that I always make. Like I said, me and you firm, right after we set up the trust account and IOTA account and so forth, I'm going to go get a software installed from one of these companies, because it takes about 6 months to customize it. See, a lot of firm thinks that they just bought a software, they done their job. No, it doesn't work off the bat. It takes 6 months to 2 years to make it fully functional. So I will go buy and implement and customize in a CRM, and I work with all of them. I actually consulted with some of them. So you need to do that. And then now you focus on getting increasing case values for our firm. So we maximize our revenue and fees from each of the case, which means you got to pay attention to the numbers and the statistics and see you're not doing too much treatment, you're not doing too little treatment, there's no gap in treatment, so we can optimize our financials.
Okay. So marketing, 10xing leads 1, optimizing intake 2, getting the right CRM seems like 3, right? Then getting the right staff is 4. And again, I really like hearing what you said, that through your platform, and I'm not advertising it, but it sounds like a really good platform. You can attract people in a flexible way. So you can get your staffing up, down, or keep it steady as your needs change. So as the volume of your files increases, you can increase your staffing on demand through the platform, right?
Yes, absolutely. You scale with the practice, and everybody in our firm is incentivized. The case manager, attorneys, the intakers. Every one of my case managers has a quota to meet on the number of settlement. If they get policy limit, they get extra bonus for that. So everybody has to share the pie. So I essentially turn my staff into partners.
That's awesome.
So everybody wins when the firm wins.
So you know all of this, and I am your business partner in this law firm, and I'm skeptical about outsourcing this work. I don't know where these people are. I don't know if it's legal for them to work on cases that are here in the United States. I don't know if they have the right certification. If they're going to touch these cases, do they need to be here legals, that they're educated?
It's the same requirement that you're hiring somebody in your office to come to work. Essentially, look, if the people are not sitting right in front of you, then it doesn't matter where they sit. Because I don't care, they're 50 miles down the road, 5 or 5,000 miles away. It doesn't matter. And look, the industry previously taught us that this works. When for the past 15, 20 years that I've been with American Express, every time I called for any reason, I didn't talk to anybody in US, right? Or I talked about any credit card, my insurance, financial institutions. So we've been using the VAs for the past 20 years, but we didn't sort of call them that. We just thought it's for the big boys, multi-billion-dollar companies and so forth. Now it's made available to public. So in LegalSoft, the way we screen them, track them, manage them, we capture their screens every 15 minutes. We track every URL they go to. We have auditors to make sure they're engaged and attending the 8 hours. The things that we do for the virtual staff, you wish you could do it for your local staff. Because for most states, it's kind of illegal to do that, or employees just quit. They think they're macromanaged. But these people that are overseas that we bring into the game, they are very grateful to have a job, which is something that is missing from our local environments.
If we outsource or if we bring in someone through LegalSoft or any other company like that, then they're paralegal. Don't they need to be a certified paralegal capacity?
No, look, in this industry, they call everybody a paralegal. I wish there was a standard, just like they call everybody a case manager. They grab somebody who worked at Macy's yesterday and call him a case manager. And they hire somebody from Target and call him a paralegal in 2 years. Some states like California have some regulation that nobody listens to, that they need to be certified paralegal. But honestly, I haven't seen many at all. And I work with a lot of firms that are certified legal assistant or certified paralegal. Those terms get used so loosely that it's meaningless. It's almost like before, when I was in tech, if you were called engineer, you better damn have an engineering degree. Developer, engineer, staff engineer, whatever. I mean, it's 99.9% that you have an engineering degree. Nowadays, they call everybody a developer. My 16-year-old kid is called a developer because he codes some stuff online, you know? Those standards are gone.
With AI, we're all going to be developers because as we speak, we'll be able to create.
I launched a company, you know, called lawpractice.ai. They'll be implementing AI, anything from assisting in lead generation and marketing to the organizations like yourself, where we do a lot of data analysis and patterns and so forth, so you can do more targeting and retargeting based on the data, all the way to settlement and how much the settlements should be. So the AI not only going to take all of those process, AI is almost going to eliminate a lot of developers as well, because AI can develop itself. So it's going to be funny that they thought the whole world going to turn into AI developers, but the next phase is the AI is going to even eliminate the jobs of the developers.
It is the sad truth, and I think, and this is a side point, that the world is not ready for the changes that we're about to experience in the next 1 to 5 years. A lot of people are going to lose jobs, and I believe that there will be significant downward pressure on legal fees because there will be so much automation that many of the jobs that are in the legal field will be lost due to that automation. If you want to run your law firm and stay competitive, you will have to shed those jobs and replace them with a lot of just automation that will be done with AI agents.
But transactional law, if it's not all AI and virtual, they're going to be gone, because transactional like immigration, corporate formation, bankruptcy, uncontested divorces in family law, they're all going to be AI. Estate planning, most of it's going to go to AI and some virtual. And it's going to be surprising a lot of people. I don't know if you know this about or not. Amazon and Google and so forth are entering into legal market, and they intend to be representing as a law firm because of this ABS program that is in Washington, Utah, Arizona, and so forth. They can be a law firm. It's going to be Amazon law firm that they are setting their fees at 19%.
That's 19. And what the market charges presently
is 1/3 is minimum. 90% of the firms I work with, they charge between 40 to 45% fees.
Well, explain, what does that mean?
When you do working on the contingency case, so let's say I just got a client that had an accident, signed a retainer. My retainer specifies that I get 40% of settlement amount.
And they will work on 19.
Right. So it's fee-based. So Amazon and these other guys are getting in there, cutting that in more than half, 19%. Essentially, all the client says, look, I got to give Sasha 40%, but I'm going to give Hamid 19%. So I'm just going to go Hamid. Right?
A lot of automation.
Yes. So a lot of automation, cost reductions, great efficiency in lead generations, in handling the cases, in doing the settlements, doing the all administration, reduce costs so you can stay competitive when the big boys comes. And the only advantage you have that you can make your service more personable, be more attentive, be more engaging. But if I have to choose between 40 to 20%, I'm going 20% all day.
So it's a very interesting time. And by the way, if you, Mr. or Mrs. Law Firm owner, are watching this and you think that this will affect me but not affect me greatly, I really suggest that you re-examine that thinking. I think that all of us are going to be dramatically impacted by the change that's going to be driven by AI in the next 1, 2 years.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you, because it's so exciting to me, because since I spent 40 years, 25 years in tech and 15 years in law, this AI in the law is like the best thing happened to me, because now I can marry both sides of the aisle here. The AI development that we're doing in the law practice AI, one platform for the entire law practice AI, we're actually calling it law firm operating system. Just like the operating system you have on your computer that manages everything that happens in your computer. Ours is not just demand only or doc collections or intake. It does the full 360 from client generation to the settlement. So you only become a member of the one platform that brings AI to your practice from A to Z.
This may hit hard, but you maybe already have thought about it. Do you think that what you're building today may be obsolete within 2 years, where different AI agents you'll just give an AI agent a task? By the way, for those who do not know the difference between AI and AI agent, AI, you just interact with it. With the AI agent, you can actually give a fairly complex task today, and it will perform that task for you, or it will keep on trying. Today for about up to 30 minutes. It will do very complex things, and then it will stop at 30 minutes. The time that it will spend on performing the task is doubling roughly every 7 weeks. Right. Soon, it will work for days and then weeks and then forever as it tries to accomplish a task, no matter what the complexity is. My concern is that whatever is being built today, and this also affects our plan for going from 1 million to 10 million, whatever we're building today may be absolutely obsolete within 2-3 years, because in 2-3 years, we'll just be talking to our computer or our phone and telling it, okay, so file this motion with that district to do this, this, and that, and here are the names, and it will ask us questions, and it will just go and perform and let us know when it's done and do the rest of it and talk to the insurance company and try to settle with their AI agent. Yes. And then they'll tell us, okay, we settled for X number of dollars. The money has been wired to the client and your share has been wired into your account.
You're absolutely right. It is going to be the entire platform that we're building is based on the agent, because that's what I'm calling it the operating system, because you need to be able to tell it to do things, research things, analyze things, report it, monitor it, rate flags, connect to a bunch of other medical providers and labs, and then contact the insurance and get authorization, and then bring me back the authorization, give it to the doctor so the doctor can perform the procedure, then collect the medical record, summarize it, analyze it, put it in chronology, send the demand, collect the check, and deposit the bank. And full cycle. Full cycle. I'm just going to stay home, basically. I'm going to have this machine run my firm. It's literally going to get to that point for 80% of the cases. I don't want, there's going to be a bunch of people listening and say, no, there is always lawyering involved and so forth. Yeah, it does. But that's on 15% of the cases. Half of the attorneys I meet, if they show up in front of the judge, they're going to have a heart attack because they have no idea what to do or what to say. I was yesterday in Arizona Supreme Court committee, and there was 12 commissioners and judges, and they're all over age of 65. And when they question you, I saw everybody in the room was older, mature people. And I was thinking, a bunch of these young people that I know, they just came to law. I have 2 kids in law school. One just finished Vanderbilt Law School, which is the top tier, and the other one going to Pepperdine. So I just imagine these people getting in front of these 12 judges that have been doing this for like 50 years, and are like, there's going to be a lot of people passed out in this room because they just freaked out.
I get that. So to wrap this up, I really like the concept. So first thing, we're building this law firm from 1 million to 10 million. We're going to find sources of leads that are going to be attracted to us in a cost-effective manner. And we need to about increase our lead flow by 10 times. Then we're going to build an optimized intake process. So it costs us as little as possible to convert good leads into good cases. Correct. Then we're going to a really good CRM, and we're going to make sure that's fully implemented in our business. Yes. As we do all of this, we'll be staffing up virtually, because it's about 25 to 30%. We have to do it to be competitive. Right. We're going to virtually staff up. And as we're growing, we're going to protect our upside by making sure that we don't become obsolete by implementing AI technology, because it seems like, according to what you're saying, it will do 80 to 85% of what needs to be done. And so in time, we'll actually be reducing tremendously even our virtual staff, because absolutely, this will, in theory, if it turns out like that, in about 2 to 5 years, will get us to that $10 million top line.
Absolutely. That's a perfect recipe you just described. You can patent that, copyright it, trademark it, whatever you want to do, but that's exactly what needs to be done. And that's exactly how me and you are going to get rich. Because we're running the best structured firm there is.
I love it. Hamid, for now, a lot of law firms do need to get their payroll costs down. If somebody is watching this or listening to this podcast, how do they connect with LegalSoft, and talks about how you can help them control their payroll costs?
Just going to the legalsoft.com is the best source. They're going to see all the services, and they can connect with us, and they can look at our candidates and so forth. And on the AI side, if they go to lawpractice.ai, they get exposed to all the AI implementation. And everybody got to get on board and start adopting, because They don't want to be that guy by the fax machine and the pager. And to get away from that, you need to run faster, be ahead of it, try things out, test things out. Don't just sit on the sideline because you're going to miss the bus.
Yeah. I think the last point to add to what you just said, and this is really important. I think a lot of people are sitting on the sideline because there's so much uncertainty created by AI and they want to see how things play out. I personally highly advise against it because what may end up happening to you and your business is that you're going to be a proverbial horse. In 1900, if you would go anywhere in New York City, all you would see on the streets are horse carriages.
Right.
By 1913, you would rarely see a horse carriage. They were replaced by cars. If horses could speak in 1900, Eric Morse would be asked, what do you think about your future prospects for employment in this business? A horse would say, for the last few thousand years, we've been in good partnership with humans.
Exactly.
Chances are I will continue working and be well fed. But in short 13 years, they were all out of business.
Absolutely. It's the same thing happened in the era of the dot-coms. I was there when the dot-coms came. A bunch of people said on the outline, then Amazon just blew up. And then there was thousands more who went like it. This is another era. So if you don't get on board, you're going to be still doing everything retail. At the retail stores. So you're going to spend your whole day trying to shop. So yeah, you're absolutely right. And you summarized that very well. Great job on that, Sasha.
Well, thank you. Hamid, it was wonderful to have you. Thank you for sharing the insights. Thank you for this riveting conversation.
Thank you very much.